Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining today. This is your host Nino, inviting you to yet another and brief and ancillary episode on the Simplex encrypted messenger. Now, this is not a new topic on this channel, and today's brief video shall concern using the Simplex encrypted messenger as a remote shell on Windows, with the previous video having demonstrated how to accomplish the same in Linux. But first things first, what is Simplex? Well, it's calling itself a secure messenger and falls in the same category of application like Signal or Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever you will. And after the arrest of the Telegram founder in France, of course, people started to be looking for alternatives, and this is when Simplex gained some traction, as these people following the principle of the less I have on you, the less can I disclose in case of an information request. And as you can install that easily and nicely on your smartphone over the respective app store applicable to it, so you can also visit simplex.chat and get a version of Simplex for the operating system of your choice. And in particular, for Linux, Macintosh, and Windows, you can also acquire a terminal or console app. So you're having these nice, cute graphical messengers, but also the something for the black window. And it does indeed work just as you would expect it to do. There's only one detail before we trigger it. When you download the Windows app, there's one funny thing. It does not have the .exe extension. It's just this file, Simplex chat Windows x8664, and that's it. It doesn't execute. You have to rename it and add the exe. And then you can turn it on and it will just operate the way you would expect it to. And if I say hi to Simplex on Windows, then just here you see it appear. And it can also say, of course, hi back. The interface is somewhat reminiscent to me of IRC, ICQ, and the classical messengers of olden times. So I find that infinitely charming, and I'm super impressed that it works that way. But of course, that is not what we came here for today, for we have assembled, in order to make use of its file transmission facility. In brief, if you can send a file from the phone to the computer, have the computer execute the file as a list of commands, record the results of these commands, and report back as a files those command results to the caller, then you're having a type of primitive non-interactive shell. Now, the specific way I did that is this, in a file called files.bat, created in the least safe fashion, and you surely should review it and judge it yourself before running it anywhere, and certainly not do so unwisely. For the file already starts under a little infinite loop marker with the deletion of all text files and all doc files, and of the file tasks.bat in the current directory. So yeah, be careful to not nuke some files you might otherwise need. The entire operation is based on text and doc files because these are files with which phone operating systems like iOS are easily working. In particular, iOS is capricious what can be opened by what else. So yeah, think of it, you'll have to stick to something common and simple. Then we are triggering the Simplex command itself, the important option being FA, which is forcing it to simply accept the files which are presently available. Then we are executing some sort of cop-out command. That's not really an important part, but needs to be some little command that shall be executed and afterwards Simplex closed. That will in reality allow the files to be fetched. I did figure out, for instance, it cannot be just quit. I thought, execute quit, haha, get the files. Yeah, but quit just lets it quit before getting the files. So I'm having to just clear the chat. Clear the chat with Typex, yes indeed. My phone is called Typex for a British encryption machine in the Second World War. This is called Crystal for a Soviet encryption machine. And yeah, the Linux machine was called Enigma. So I can only admire the complexities of these devices, and the simplicity of my script stays in stark contrast to them. But bear with me, we are triggering thereby the file received of a text file. We assume that the commands will be contained inside a text file. So copy whatever it's called into tasks.bat, the batch file that shall then be executed in order to produce some command results, if any. Then we are calling cmd with the C switch to execute tasks.bat, and we are recording the results in result.doc. And finally, we are checking whether result.doc is having a file size of 0. And if not, we are again triggering Simplex, but this time we are letting it transmit this result to Typex, that is, to the phone. And that is being repeated over and over and over infinitely. So if we now, for instance, pick a file and say, give me the result of a directory listing, and actually I can already trigger the files batch file. Then here we got result doc. Now let me just briefly open it, but the problem is that when I open it, it is suggesting my contacts, so you will allow me to do that in a little bit of anonymity. But yeah, here with the Android Open Office, we are having the directory listing, and you can see here even the result doc file, the files bat file, the Simplex window, and so on and so forth. So that worked nicely. Let's send it also a command concerning IP configuration. So choose file ipconfig text. Let's send that. As you can see in the background, it is looping and it produced result.doc. Once again, please allow me to open that at the side. So where is my Open Office variant? There it is. Okay. So yeah, you see I'm having here data on my Windows IP configuration. And that way it's running and waiting for commands to accept and to execute. And that's really all there is about it, ladies and gentlemen. Doing it this way, you can have at least some form of remote control capability over Simplex. I hope you enjoyed today's brief episode, and I hope to greet you here soon again for others. If not a subscriber yet, please consider joining our friendly club. Until we cross paths again, have a wonderful time. See you hopefully soon, and from me, goodbye.